Rob, I am a good friend. I try to be a good host, especially when people are over at my house. So I always like to have our guests go first. Let's go over your favorite wrestlers of all time. I don't know if you guys want to go greatest. I don't know if you want to go favorite. I don't know if you want to do Mount Rushmore. I'm going to say it's your guys' world and I'm just living in it. So I'm going to have Rob go first. Brando's going to go second. Mario, I want to hear the 4 wrestlers just that you know third. And then I'll go last because I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Val Venus is my GOAT. Hello, ladies. Rob?
You know, we were texting about this earlier, and I started having flashbacks to the Val Venus storyline back in the day.
Choppy.
And I don't know how or why my parents continued to allow me to watch professional wrestling after Choppy the PP, and I just kept going back for more. I probably shouldn't have even said that on the radio, but, good. Sometimes you got to, as a heel, you got to push the envelope a little bit. Here's the problem I had. I got like 4 different lists, dude. I got a list that's favorite. That is different. List that's greatest. That is list that is different than best wrestlers. That is different than best promo guys. So I would kind of need to know, like, which list are we going? If we're going list of favorite wrestlers, there's only one wrestler. I will say this. Whether we're going best or best wrestler, most technically skilled, best promo, most entertaining, most engaging, whatever, no matter what list there's only one guy to me, Ryan, that's on every one of those lists. And that's Ric Flair. That's the only guy that's on every one of these lists. That you could make the argument that Shawn Michaels deserves to be on these lists. Yes. Great in-ring, great on the promo, great Riz aura, as the kids like Mario might say. So I might give you 2 that Rick and Mr. WrestleMania both deserve on that list. But I think for me, I'm going to go the most encapsulating wrestler, because to me, what makes a great wrestler is number 1, technical and skill. Can I watch a wrestling match and believe that it is actually fighting as opposed to 2 guys going through scripted choreography? Number 2, are you captivating and motivating when you're on the microphone? Do you tell a story to me on the microphone that I buy in and I go, I care about this? That's the difference between a good movie and a great movie, right? Do you care about what's happening on the screen? And the third thing is, can you motivate a crowd? Can you walk into the arena, have your music hit, and have 22,000 people come out of the seats and making more noise than they will make at any other point of their lives? And there's a few guys that go on that list. Ric Flair is at the top of that list to me. That man from the territorial days until not terribly long ago in AEW, put all of the out-of-the-ring shenanigans aside. Ric Flair owned whatever building that he was in. Ric Flair was the first bad guy that made being a fan of a bad guy cool, man. He goes on that list. Number 2 on that list for me, Ryan. Razor Ramon Scott Hall goes on that list. Dude,
you son of a bitch.
Who amongst us didn't want to be Scott Hall? Who amongst us didn't try to get that? Hell, Mario spent like a month this year trying to get that Jericho going. I believe that's because of Scott Hall, even if he doesn't know who that guy is. He picks up a mic and he talks about the machismo, and we all bought in. Number 3, ladies and gentlemen, it's got to be The Undertaker, one of the only people that could make horror come to life in wrestling. Ryan, I was at WrestleMania 30 when he lost the streak to Brock Lesnar and went from 21-0 to 21-1, and I got to tell you, and I mean this, I've never been more shocked at an event in my life. I've never been more surprised at an event in my life. I, at the time, a 27-year-old grown-ass man, fell backwards into my seat and was unable to produce words for minutes at the conclusion to that, because that guy built a lot of what I loved about wrestling over the years. And then the 4th one, and I know this is a bit of a lazy take, I don't give a damn. Has anybody in the history of the business, and yes, Terry, I put you on this list, has anybody able, with one sound, has anybody ever been able to own a building the way that Stone Cold Steve Austin did when that glass shattered and the Texas Rattlesnake came walking down the ramp to put an ass whooping on Mr. McMahon and his crony center of the ring? No, to this day, if you hear a pane of glass shatter, it's automatically the thing that happens. I used to have The Rock on this list, but The Rock is ruining wrestling right now. I'd love to have Cena on this list, but it's prime Cena, LOL, Cena wins years where it was just the same 5-move of doom script over and over and over, and nobody was allowed to be over besides him. When my man came out and took the belt off of Rey Mysterio, Cena went tumbling down the list for me. Watching what Dwayne is doing right now during this CD heel turn, which should be one of the greatest heel turns of my life, Dwayne goes off the list. So you're giving me Rick, you're giving me Razor, you're giving me Taker, and you're giving me hell yeah with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ryan.
I love that list. Brando, where are you going? And if it's the list that you got here in the chat, I completely understand.
The list that I have in the chat is it's close, right? So for me, if we were talking about the Mount Rushmore, for me, I just go by the greatest. Because if I went by my 5 favorite of all time, it would be Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and Shawn Michaels. That would be my Mount Rushmore if I went by the guys that I like. But going off of, you have to have Hulk Hogan on there just because he's Hulk Hogan. He made wrestling famous. I don't like him. I don't like him as a person. I didn't like him as a wrestler. But you have to have Hulk Hogan on the list, okay? Then after Hulk Hogan, I'm with you. I go with The Undertaker because The Undertaker is one of the most iconic figures of all time. The WrestleMania, the streak, everything like that, absolutely fantastic. Then I go, this is where it gets a little bit crazy because I put Shawn Michaels. Because to me, Shawn Michaels is the greatest in-ring performer of all time. Shawn Michaels could sell a hit like nobody's business. So Shawn Michaels is on there for me, and then after Shawn Michaels, last but certainly not least, on my Mount Rushmore, it's The Rock. It's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. There's no John Cena. There's no. I love Stone Cold, one of my favorite of all time. But it's The Rock because he's just that character. And then he went to Hollywood and he took that same character that he built in the WWE and he took it to the big screen. And he made millions upon millions of dollars on the big screen. And then he still comes back to WWE and everybody hates him. I don't like seeing him at the WWE level either. Stick to Hollywood because I like you better there. I like you better making all of these movies with Vin Diesel and doing the Fast and the Furious 943. I can't wait to see that one. But for me, that's my Mount Rushmore.
Every movie he makes, for some reason, he's always in the jungle, and I have no idea why. So I like that take, though, too, because, like Hulk Hogan, we're talking about the wrestling character. So if he's on your top 5, it's okay, right? Like, we're not going to cancel you. With The Rock, I don't like the politics and him coming in and then leaving and messing up the storylines either, but the character is in my top 5 as well. All right, so Scott Hall. Damn it, I didn't know that you were going to go there. Dude, growing up, I wanted to be Scott Hall. The chains, the sweat, hey, yo, Chico. But so you use them. I'll actually keep them out of my top 5 because I got to give some love to RVD. Growing up, ECW seemed like so taboo. I never knew when the hell it was on. It wasn't even in the TV guide. And it wasn't like back in the day when you could just grab the remote and be like, oh, it's on at 11. I'm going to record this. I mean, later on it was when TNA had the rights. But, dude, every time I would turn that on, I just loved RVD. He was the stoner character, the whole effing show, RVD. And his matches, especially the ones against Jerry Lynn, if you're a wrestling fan, go back and watch those. They had some classics against each other. So I'm going to go RVD, man. And then he had, obviously, the great WWE run. He had one of the better matches. If we're talking John Cena best matches, the ECW one, the one-night stand, where Cena throws his shirt in the crowd and they throw it back at him
and they
in the original arena, dude.
Great moment.
Dude, that was so awesome. If Cena wins, we riot. RVD wins with help from Edge, obviously. But, yeah, RVD's top 5 for me. Undertaker, number 4. I mean, dude, he's got to be in your top 5. Undertaker, if he's your number 1, I have no issue with that. When I really started getting into wrestling, it was with the him and Kane storyline. And even though the matches kind of stunk, seeing that Inferno match at 10, 11 years old, I was like, no way they're really going to be on fire. And then Kane's arm was on fire, dude. And Undertaker was just a complete badass, so he's got to be on that list. I'm going to go The Rock, number 3. I still use all the quotes. I probably shouldn't even admit this, but sometimes me and my kid will be messing around and I'll be like, if you don't put your shoes on, I'm going to turn that sumbitch sideways and stick it straight up your candy ass. So The Rock always has to be top 5. I got him number 3. Brando, I'm with you on Shawn Michaels. I got him number 2. Mr. WrestleMania, the Heartbreak Kid. I just hate the stories about like whacked out Shawn Michaels and how terrible of a human he was, but then he found God, kind of like Rihanna found love in a hopeless place. Number 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin. The guy showed up, beat the hell out of his boss. Who doesn't want to do that other than me? Love all the bosses. Drank beer in the ring, gave you the middle finger. I mean, guy was just a kick-ass dude. And kind of like saved the WWF, I would argue, for the Attitude Era. Him and Mr. McMahon's rivalry. You had great characters, obviously, with The Undertaker, and I was going to say Triple H. Triple H, it took him some time, man, to get him over. But yeah, Stone Cold's number 1 for me. Rob, do you hate my list as a member of the internet wrestling community?
No, I don't. Listen, I always thought, I kind of have the same thought about Hogan that I do have Cena. Like, to me, a part of being the greatest of all time is making the business better for you being there, right? Like, part of being the greatest of all time is that the business, the wrestlers around you are elevated. Because if you, Hulk Hogan is a career full of crap guy. And if you've ever read the stories that have been told by wrestler after wrestler after wrestler of the fact that they would come to Hogan and go, hey, we got an opportunity to like help somebody come up and going. And Hogan's catchphrase wasn't running wild on you, brother. Hogan's catchphrase was, that doesn't work for me, brother, because the guy refused to let anybody succeed around him. I don't hold it as much against John Cena because there is story after story after story of Cena wanted to take the fall and let somebody else have their moment and raise themselves off of John Cena. And effectively, John Cena was making so much gosh darn money for that company that they couldn't let him take the pin, right? Like, he had to keep selling that merch. He got so big, he was such a cash cow that they could not let him take the L. Hogan just refused to because his ego was too damn big. And I mean, I guess it worked out for him. He became he was a rock and roll superstar at his height, but I don't think anybody around Hogan was better for being around Hogan until the turn to the NWO, which was, let's be real, the most shocking moment in the history of pro wrestling. I think it still may be even with the Cena turn. So I don't dislike your list at all. I just know that we're two fellas who know ball for the fact that we both had one of the GOATs that never gets on the GOAT list, Reza Ramon, inside the top 5, where he damn sure deserves to be. Shout out Kevin Nash for being right there with him, by the way.
And I don't want the folks in Canada to hate me. Chris Jericho does deserve probably to be on that list over RVD. But man, I just loved RVD. All right, Mario, what do you got? Right. 4 to 5 that you know. Who do we got here?
All right, these are my top 5.
Oh.
These are my top 5. So
okay.
Get excited. First up, number 5, Booker T. I saw him do one fight, and he shaved Vince McMahon's head, and I thought that was kind of entertaining. He's really jacked.
Sucker.
That's what he said.
Sucker!
Next guy, he had really long hair. I believe his last name was Hardy, and he wore, like, sleeves, and he always jumped really high.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. There's Jeff and Matt. They're brothers.
Both of them.
Both he's cool. 100% talking about Jeff, and you and I both know it, Horvat.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Matt's not all that cool.
Jeff Hardy, pretty sick. He flies up there. I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Out of shape wrestler that always fought Cena and was in a limo. I don't know who it was. But he was, I always thought it was funny. He was really out of shape. He was always in a Speedo. Cowboy hat, limo.
Oh, JBL.
Oh, JBL. John Bradshaw Layfield.
John Bradshaw Layfield. Yes, friend of show.
I thought he was kind of funny. Yeah. He always fought Cena. He always kind of, was mean to Cena. I thought that was kind of nice.
I like that. I liked him too.
Okay.
I still do.
Yeah.
I got a kick out of him.
I think there's one time his limo blew up or something, and I thought that was kind of crazy.
He bets games too.
Shout out to him. Bets games, friend of the program.
Yeah, friend of the show.
Small guy in mask.
Rey Mysterio.
Yeah,
Ray,
okay, now we're cooking.
Yeah.
Again, this was off the dome. I didn't want to do a lot of research.
Yeah.
But he was really cool. I saw him do a lot of flips.
Yep.
I thought that was kind of nice. I think he had a belt at one point.
He did.
Okay.
Multiples.
Okay, multiple belts. 2-time
Something my wife doesn't know about.
Two-time champ. Only him, Conor McGregor, and Henry Cejudo have pulled that off, and John Jones. That's pretty crazy, guys.
Yes.
And the last one, he's never lost, undefeated in the ring, so I think he deserves to be number 1, Undertaker. He never lost.
No, he did, though.
You're killing me, Small.
Rob was at the WrestleMania that he lost to Brock Lesnar.
Literally was at the right. Hang on. I am going to say this, Horvat. Shockingly good list from Hayden Asmari. Shockingly good list. However, he's created a problem for me in that forever and always an absolute icon, legend, titan of the industry, Rey Mysterio. I'm never going to see that guy and not call him small guy with mask. for the rest of my life, and I'm kind of pissed off about that, to be honest
Small
with
guy
you.
with mass. That's what my son called him until he was 4.